Dear students, now I'm going to explain you the conduction of nerve impulses. So in the last class you have studied nervous system is composed of complex network of nerves and nerve cells or the neurons. They carry the messages or nerve impulses to and from the brain and spinal cord to different parts of the body. You have studied different types of neurons and all this. So here what you see here, there is a how it functions, the what are the nature of the nerve impulses, all this in this video. So sensory output, so you will find your sensory organs, so they are the regions, they are the sensory output. For example, in this a person is seeing the cup of water, so this information from the eye, it will be conveyed to the brain. So this is called sensory sensory input from the retina. The sensory neurons, they are carrying this in the form of nerve impulses to the brain, where there is the information will be processed. So the person is thirsty, wants to drink, so he is going to lift this water to drink. So this message will be, there is a interneuron, this will process and the message will go to the motor neuron. So there will be a motor output. So that's the muscles, the biceps of the hand will be ordered to lift the water. So the person is going to drink the water. So this is how exactly you will find the functioning of the neurons in our body. So that's why the neurons are specialized cells. They have the property of excitability or irritability. So they respond to a stimulus. So this response is not going to remain in that place where exactly the stimulus is applied. It will be communicated to the central nervous system and proper response will be elicited. So you can see the stimuli, so in that evoke nerve impulses may be visual stimuli, something you see from your eye. So it will be communicated to the brain. The message, the information will be communicated to the brain. Similarly, auditory, you will hear something, that will be that sound that brain going to understand, and according to that the response you will find. So then olfactory, if it is something you can see, you will smell it, that is olfactory. Touch, something you touch, a hot object or something, you will realize what type or its surface, whether it is your cloth or it is something hot object or anything, you can see, that's a tactile sensory. Thermal, so you will find, you can able to sense the what is the temperature now, and that is all the thermoreceptors on your skin. Then the chemical, so something you taste in your tongue, so it is whether it is hot or it is cold or else it is salt to taste or sweet to taste, all this will be communicated. So it is similarly you will find all these senses. So they are they are innervated by the neurons. These neurons, this is any stimulus, it will bring, it will evoke nerve impulses in the neurons that will be communicated to the brain, and the brain will elicit proper response. So that's why the membranes of the neuron, it may be the dendrite or cyton or axon. So all these membranes, they exhibit their property. This is called excitability, responding to a stimulus, and this response is not going to remain in that region, it will be communicated. So that is called conductivity. Excitability and conductivity are the special properties of the neuron. So what is the nature of the nerve impulse? So you will find neurons or the nerves, so they may be present on the ectoderm, also in the endoderm of your body. They receive stimuli and they transform this stimulus into the nerve impulses and conduct to elicit a suitable response. So if somebody touches, so this response, that this will be communicated to the brain and suitable response will be elicited. So that's why nerve impulse is a self-propagating electrochemical gradient. electrical message that conduct very fast to the point of stimulation to the end of the axon. So here you will see it's an electrical impulse. It will be communicated from the point of stimulation to the end of the axon. So they are like a lightning strike. So you will find the electric charges in the differences in the electric charges in the cloud, they generate this the lightning. Similar the response to a stimulus is because of the changes in the electric charges across the membrane of the neuron. So the plasma membrane of the neuron is responsible to evoke the nerve impulses or this that will be transmitted down the axon of the neuron. So nerve impulse is an electrochemical gradient conducting rapidly from the point of stimulation to the end of the axon. If it is generated here, it will be impulse will be conducted very fast from the point of stimulation to the end of the axon. So the electrochemical gradient or membrane potential. So the membrane, the plasma membrane of the neuron, so they have a differences in the electrical charges across the membrane. So the membrane, whatever see in the neuron, it is similar to any other cell membrane in your body. So they are selectively permeable. So they are not permeable for the larger ions or else molecules. They may be, you have studied this fluid mosaic model. So they have all along the membrane, you will find all along the membrane, there are voltage gated ion channels, the channels for sodium, potassium, and you will find all along the membranes. So they transport these charged ions. So they are transporting, they are voltage gated, means they are transporting when this gate will open, when there is more ions here, less ions here. So the more positively charged ions here, the gate will open, and so this is how exactly. So the neuron has a charged cellular membrane. The voltage difference between inside and outside, outside positively charged, inside negatively charged. So the plasma membrane of the neuron maintains a voltage or potential difference across the membrane during its resting stage. When the neuron is not stimulated, it is called resting potential. So what is this resting potential? So resting potential, the membrane is called polarized. Why it is called polarized? You will find more positively charged ions outside and more negatively charged ions inside. So this is you will find outside the neuron more positively charged ions, inside the cytoplasm more negatively charged ions. So this is called resting potential. This is the state where when the neurons is not stimulated, when the resting stage, that's it. So there is a electrochemical gradient you will find outside positively charged, inside negatively charged. So this resting potential, it is about if you measure with the help of a voltmeter, this will be about minus 70 millivolts. Why this resting potential differences you will see? Why it is not equal distribution of the charged ions? This is because, so there is a three activities. Because of this, you will find outside more positively charged ions, inside more negatively charged ions. One is sodium potassium ATPase pump. So there is a pump, you will find pump is nothing but it's a carrier protein you will find on the membrane. Such carrier protein you will find all along the membrane at many places. So they are operating during resting stage of the neuron. So they are utilizing energy from ATP. They pump whatever the sodium ions generated in the cytoplasm outside, in exchange potassium ions inside. But here the difference, because it is 3 sodium ions pumped outside, in exchange only 2 potassium ions inside. So then whatever the chloride ions that remain inside the cytoplasm, they are negatively charged, and also the cytoplasm or the exoplasm, they have more number of more proteins dissolved. They are all negatively charged, and all sodium gates are closed. Only sodium potassium pump is operating, pumping more sodium outside. So all this making there is a sufficient potential difference across the membrane. Outside positively charged ions are more, inside negatively charged ions are more. This is during resting stage of the neuron. So this is called resting potential. So there is a voltage difference. So you will find because that is due to the sodium potassium pump, it will be, if you measure it, is minus 70 millivolts. So this membrane, resting membrane potential, so it is keeping the membrane polarized. This membrane of plasma membrane, outside positive charge, inside negative. So this is called polarized membrane. So this is because of sodium potassium pump and the closing of the sodium channel and potassium channel, that is keeping sufficient potential difference across the membrane. Now coming to the action potential. The action potential appears when stimulus is applied. When the stimulus is applied, immediately the potential difference what you see during resting stage get altered. So all the sodium channel open up and the sodium rushes inside, because there is a difference you will find. You will find there is you will find the sodium channel opens and you can see the sodium rushes inside. So in the point of stimulation you will find altered you can see stage. So the inside positive, outside negative. So immediately you can see there is a difference in the membrane potential that rises from minus 70 millivolt to plus 40 millivolt. Sudden you can see there is a shooting up plus 40 millivolt. So this altered potential is called action potential, which shows electronegative outside and electropositive inside only in the region where the stimulus is applied. Rest of the region same resting potential. So now this membrane in this region, it is called depolarized. Outside, actually the polarized means outside positive, inside negative. Depolarized means outside negative, inside positive. So in this is what you can see, altered potential is called action potential. So the membrane the changes into the resting potential to the action potential. So this action potential remains only, so this when where the stimulus is applied, you will see the action potential, it will remain for a millisecond. So that reaches to the highest plus 40 millivolt. So once it reaches plus 40 millivolt, immediately the membrane restores its original potential, that is through immediately the sodium ion gate opens up and there is a sudden outflux of potassium ions. Then the sodium potassium ATP pump starts working once again. So all these immediately restore the original potential. So this is called the repolarization. So the resting potential will be restored. So you will find there is a change in the membrane potential. So this changed membrane potential will not going to remain in this place. It will move all along the length of the axon, all along the length of the membrane, like a wave, how you see in a water. Similarly you will see here. So altered, that move to this region, this move to this region, this move to this region, it moves like a wave. So this is what the electric message will move in the form of a wave. So that is this electric message due to the stimulus, it will move like a wave. So you can see the depolarization wave, it is called, because it is polarized outside positive and inside negative. This depolarization, it is inside positive, outside negative. So what you see here, So it is moving like a depolarization wave from the point of stimulus to the conducted along the membrane of the neuron. So this is called the conduction of nerve impulse. Action potential developed in the region of the stimulus. So here or else here. So it is in the or else anywhere, you know. So it stimulates the adjacent region to become depolarized. So what happens when you apply a stimulus here and this region depolarized? So this depolarization won't remain here, it moves to the next region. So the next region get depolarized, adjacent region. The nerve impulse generated travels from the point of stimulation towards the termination of the axon like a wave. So this moves along the neuron like a wave. So it is not going to remain in the point of stimulation. So the local there is a spike potential. Maximum level of action potential can be recorded in an oscilloscope. This is a diphasic spike. If you see in the electronic department, there will be oscilloscope. So if you in the resting potential, it shows minus 70. When you apply a stimulus, so this is the resting potential. So you will find the sodium channel and potassium channel closed. Sodium potassium pump is operating. So it is resting potential. So you apply a stimulus, immediately the sodium channel opens, sodium potassium pump closes. So suddenly you can see there is a changes in the membrane potential. It shoots up to plus 40 millivolts. So this is the spike potential. So it will be recorded, it can be recorded in oscilloscope plus 40 millivolts. When it reaches to the spike potential, immediately there is a repolarization occurs immediately. So it is a fraction of second. So immediately sodium channel closes, sodium potassium pump opens, and then potassium channel opens up, rushes the potassium outside, which makes the immediate you can see electropositivity outside, electronegativity inside. So this is the phase, you can see this is a phase repolarization. Once again the resting potential will be maintained. So this can be, you can see this changes in the membranes in a oscilloscope. So this is called the spike potential. So you will find when you apply a stimulus, there is a action potential develops. This action potential itself, there is a change right in the membrane. This itself is a stimulus for the adjacent region. So adjacent region, once when the repolarization, the original condition is restoring here, this region gets depolarized, and when this region is depolarized, so this depolarization moves to this region get repolarized. So this is what you can see here in this membrane. All the you will find the sodium channel open up. So there is a depolarization. So this once again the original all the sodium channel closed. Immediately you can see the potassium channel opens up. So you can see that is the repolarization. So this whatever the change move like a wave all along the membrane. So this wave till, if you throw a stone on the water, it creates a ripples like this. You can see it will move all along the till it reaches the bank. The same thing you can see till it reaches the axon end. So this electric message will move. So depolarization wave will move from the point of origin to the end of the axon. So this is what you can call the nerve impulse. So this is about the origin and conduction of nerve impulse. Thank you.